floors. The reason why I want so much smooth stone in between these two floors is because I don't really have a use for any of the cobble, which I just have vast quantities of at the moment. I know there is some use for cobble, however, I do not currently have any use for cobble. Therefore, I'm trying my best to find a use for it. You know, smooth stone happens to be a very good use for my cobble because it allows me to generate some experience from the cobblestone because I have to smelt it in order to make smooth stone, which is very helpful. Because that allows me to create some semblance of an experience farm. Make sure this isn't going to block off anything. No. Okay. Yeah. I plan to generate a very large collection of materials through the use of just excavation. However, options are limited. I shall use this efficiency 3 pickaxe to repair my pickaxe. Actually, do I have any efficiency 4 pickaxes I can use? I want to see if I can get an efficiency 5. Nope, just 2 silk touch ones. Okay, well, that was worth it. 5 levels. Not bad. Back down to the mine I go. As I was saying, I intend to utilize my resources to the best of their ability. I intend to fill in a lot of this area, which I am currently traversing with relative ease because digging down is kind of easy when you're going one layer at a time. I'm already familiar with the ground beneath this layer, therefore I don't need to worry about accidentally digging into lava. I am familiar enough to know not to go digging through that section, because that's an open section on the bottom. That's why I filled it in. This is definitely going to provide a large quantity of resource reallocation, as it were. However, there is additionally a bit of wiggle room for me to expand. You know, it's not going to be going anywhere because, you know, it's the same it's the same material the whole way through. Therefore, I don't really need to worry about, what happens if I, want to install lights. The specific section that I'm digging out is just solid. I don't have to worry about lights. If I did want to worry about lights, however, I would put a light there. And then I would put a light there. Now I have all of that material cleaned up. I have this all mapped out to some degree. I guess not all of the sections which I had excavated were filled in. Okay. Okay. You can sort of see the pattern that I'm using here as I excavate around this missing light here. And that is 3 in that direction, 3 in that direction, 3 in this direction, and then I can do 3 in that direction as well. And that is the pattern for the smooth stone which I am using. In the center, of course, is going to be a light, a lantern, which I will place in with me facing this way. Therefore, the lantern faces that way. All of the lanterns face north. Let's grab this section of material. In addition to, cross over to this one, this section of material. Okay. Oops. Okay. Things are definitely getting pieced together nicely. Okay. Just digging my way across. basically taking the opportunity to resurface as much of this area as I am able to get away with at this present moment. I shall actually fill that in with normal stone for the moment in order to prevent monsters from spawning in there. Oops. Did not intend to place those two. Okay. There we go. This place is starting to look a lot better already. It's just a simple matter of going through, resurfacing all of the floor into the smooth stone. I know it's a lot of work. I know I'm going to be eventually taking all of this smooth stone back because I plan to eventually redecorate this entire section of floor. However, before the point where I fill in before I fill in y equals 5, before the point where I fill in, y equals 9, I want to, as well as y equals 8, I want to be able to enjoy having a decent looking floor. I will likely introduce more of the lanterns into the build as time progresses, because I just kind of need the lighting. There's not really much to be done about that. I just need the lighting. However, things like this staircase, that's fine. This dripping water block will eventually not be a thing I need to worry about, because I will either put some dripstone beneath it and create a nice little stalagmite formation, or I will put a half slab in this space right here, specifically like right there. Oops. Accidentally fell right through. I don't need to worry about touching the magma block from the side, fortunately. However, I do need to worry about potentially encountering some form of issue with installing this section, because I want to make sure that I have smooth stone all over the place down here. I'm going to be using very large quantities of smooth stone in this project because smooth stone is basically going to be my between the floor scaffolding, as well as smooth stone filling in all the gaps at the bedrock layer, as well as smooth stone being used in my staircase, which is going to provide me transport back to my base whenever I need more materials or whenever I need to empty my inventory. It will provide me all of the travel options which I desire. I can further reinforce this through making use of... hold on. I need to dig out all of these various spots that I just filled in that actually belong to a lantern. Fortunately, since everything has a square outline pattern, it is very easy to locate where each one goes, because I can just count the squares. One there, one there. Anyway, yeah. This will allow for a very lovely looking hallway as things get more and more filled in. I will need to craft a lot of jack-o'-lanterns in order to fill this place in. The carved pumpkin lanterns are very, very heavily needed in here. Okay, while I'm at it, I shall go ahead with the introduction of that into everything. Let me see. Okay. Now I can go down here, collect this material, and then I can go over here, climb up, and then just start checking in these little sections here for materials. When I reach this point, I can very easily just return over here. Yeah, every 50 seems to be the way to go for this, because 100 just seems like a little too much. Just a little. Yep. I'm just checking in all of these little pits that I created, which are reserved spaces for light sources. They look like potholes, but they're not potholes. They are reserved spaces. You know, the place looks like it was, fired at by a shotgun, but in actuality, it's not been attacked by any sort of weapon. It's just been properly excavated and properly set up for some proper lighting. Now I can just go through, take out this section between the floors. This will allow me to fill in this section very easily, in addition to giving me all of these lovely resources. I'm trying keep my camera centered in one direction as I try to excavate all of this. However, my camera is proving uncooperative for whatever reason. I'm not moving my finger. My camera is moving. You know what? I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to stop for it. Okay, there we go. Now we seem to be on the right track. Where was I? Miki died. Players have not yet met their new slime party member. I had a little mini session with one of the players in order to find out what they did with their free time in the town of Melodia. What the player decided on was they wanted to travel to the blacksmith. They wanted to get a few resources situated. They wanted a few items. They wanted blacksmith tools. They wanted what else was it they wanted? They wanted a few different weapons. Basically, they were replenishing their armory, which is fair. It's very fair. You know, I understand players not wanting to run out of their weapon of choice. Well, it appears that chunk 400 here is in its own chunk. The section at chunk, or at location 400 is in its own chunk. That is an interesting development. It dawned on me as I was running that the ceiling was far too low for what I was doing, and it's like, did I forget to stop at the appropriate turn? Apparently I did. And in the process, yeah, all of this was discovered. Yay. Discovered, similar to Christopher Columbus discovering America and all of its already native inhabitants that had previously discovered it before him. Everyone always forgets that. They're like, well, Christopher Columbus discovered America. Yes, as well as all of its native inhabitants that came before him. Yeah. But yes, it is technically a true statement. He did finally realize that America was a location. Therefore, technically, yes, he discovered America for himself. Not for anyone else. I mean, he didn't discover it for the king or the queen or anything like that. They already knew of America's existence. They already knew where America was. They already knew all of that information. You know, Christopher Columbus did not introduce the concept of America to the king and queen. That was not Christopher Columbus's primary function in the great scheme of things. Christopher Columbus was the guy who they sent out to go find out if this place was, like, worthwhile of being exploited. And Christopher Columbus's findings was yes it is. That is American history for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's that simple, that short. Short and sweet, as they say. I'm really struggling with keeping a straight line here. It's very difficult to actually excavate in a straight line in Minecraft unless you're, like, carving a canyon of some type. I'm getting a lot of cobblestone because I came through here when I was digging out silverfish and digging out various ores that had spawned down here. Therefore, my rates of return on pickaxe to ore is going to be a little bit skewed. However, 2, 3, then gap. 1, 2, 3, then gap. Let me just fill in this section first. Okay, now I can go retrieve all of the ores which I left on the floor all over the place down here. Probably didn't leave too many. I was digging ahead of myself quite a ways in order to ensure that the ore had a decent chance of dropping at my feet before I actually approached it. Okay. I shall also need to repair my Silk Touch pickaxe very soon. As well as this iron sword. Yeah, the large ones don't really get much of a chance up here in the narrow rafters. These guys technically just died at 2 hits, but, you know, then they split out into these smaller ones, and these guys just die in 1 hit. Therefore, if you know what you're doing, you can just split them all into the small form. And the small form will easily just fall. You know. Okay, first up, depositing of ores. Second up, gravel. Yep. Smooth stone. No, regular stone. That's a lot of regular stone. I might need to definitely start excavating more. Oh boy. Oh goody. A lot of the material got consumed while I was away. Therefore, a lot of it is actually freed up from my inventory. Polish all the andesite, polish all the diorite, polish all the granite. Let me retrieve the excess from storage. Oops. Did not deposit all of the diorite on accident there. Deposit all of the andesite. Withdraw the regular granite. Polish it up. And then deposit the excess. Deposit the polished granite that I have in reserves. Oh, right. Craft some slime blocks. Deposit said slime blocks. Now I am qualified to go ahead and top off those. I can go over here, do a little bit of damage on those guys. I can retrieve the vast quantities of iron as well as gold. They spit me, and they spit at me, and the thorns killed them. This guy has some decent trades. However, the only thing I would really want is the sea pickle, because I don't know of how to actually get those. Let's see, deposit those. I want an iron sword. I want... well, first let me make the iron sword enchanted. Let me see how that goes. Come on, give me the lapis. Thank you. Iron sword, enchant, level 30. Unbreaking 3, knockback 2. Well, that's going to definitely improve my my sword's properties as it continues to get stronger. Refill my sticks. Refill my planks. There we go. And now, let's see how the pickaxe turns out. And looks like it's giving me efficiency 3. Which is not that great because I already had an efficiency 3 pickaxe. And if I had kept it, I would now have an efficiency 4 pickaxe available for my Silk Touch pickaxe. That pickaxe is getting decently expensive to repair as well. The iron sword is getting much more durable. I spent all of my levels doing that. Oh my. I'm holding all of my iron and gold, or at least a majority of my iron and gold. I should go and deposit this stuff before I do anything stupid. And dead. One hit for you. One hit for you. One hit for you. Switch weapons, because everything is entirely harmless. It has 0 attack power. Okay. Right. That was the other thing I needed to do. I needed to withdraw more smooth stone from my reserves. Therefore, I want that one, and that one, that one. Well, with that one, and that one, and that one. And then I also want to craft a bunch of iron into blocks of iron. And then I also want to craft a bunch of gold into blocks of gold, and a bunch of slime into blocks of slime. And then deposit the slime, deposit the gold, deposit the iron. Getting up there on the iron. Deposit the lapis. Now I have a very dead slime in front of me. All of these slimes are also going to very easily find themselves falling to my cod of doom. I could rename it Cod of Doom, maybe, but that would be a waste of a name tag. Okay, that one goes, this one goes in, there we go. Okay, I can take that out just so I have a little more wiggle room when I'm jumping up here. Okay. Now, very similar to before, when I was placing in this line, I just want to place a 1x1 gap every 4th block. The reason for this is very simple. This reserves the space for a lantern to be placed in order to provide proper lighting all throughout the build. Every now and then I encounter a situation such as this one where I accidentally fill it in. That's fine. I have stairs every 50 blocks. I can easily just hop down, retrieve whatever item I accidentally placed down, and then re-excavated, and then just go back to filling in the place. yeah. The main reason not a lot of stuff has happened in my campaign since one of the players decided that they wanted their character to expire, as it were. They... Sorry, I have something in my throat. There we go. Didn't want to cough, because I know the headphones users are still recovering from the sounds of slime. Anyways, the reason why not much has happened since then is specifically because my campaign is on Fridays. Therefore, I don't really have anything new to add unless I manage to just gather everyone together and we just have another session. However, that kind of defeats the purpose of having a Friday scheduled session. I will, of course, be letting the player know that if they don't show up for the session, I will just continue without them, as was the protocol before. They didn't like that protocol, but that's the way the campaign is built. It's built around that feature. As a feature, his main gripe was that, he came back to it and his character was different. It's like, well, yeah, you haven't played in like a year, and the specific time frame that you're always complaining about, you hadn't played for like 3 months, man. What did you expect? Of course something happened to your character. You hadn't played in a quarter of a year. It's annoying how people can complain sometimes about obvious things. It's like saying, well, he robbed me of my money in my purse. It's like, well, did you tell him not to? No. Did you ever try resisting? No. And what do you expect me to do about it? Well, help me get my money back. What money back? You didn't try to stop them. If you're not going to try and stop the bad guy from being a bad guy, then of course the bad guy is going to continue being a bad guy. Duh. That's why I am always very vocal about whenever I want someone to stop doing something. I always just tell them, point blank, stop doing that. I don't mince words about it. I don't sit there and discuss the pros and cons of saying, well, maybe if he did it nicer. It's like, no. If I want someone to stop doing something, I want them to stop, because it's obviously causing a problem for them to not stop. Therefore, I want them to stop. Simple. Some people turn it into this massive ordeal, and it's like, it's not always going to be this situation that arises and causes this massive problem. Okay? Sometimes it doesn't need to be a problem. You know? And that baffles some people. They're like, it doesn't need to be a problem? It's like, why do you sound so surprised? You know, this is just basic human nature at this point. Why are you surprised by basic human nature? You know, of course it doesn't need to be a problem. Why would anything need to be a problem? You know, the only time something needs to be a problem is when there is a problem with something. You know, they say hatred begets hatred, violence begets violence, war begets war. And it's like, well, yeah, and stupidity has a tendency to beget stupidity, you know, which is why I don't like stupidity, because it tends to lead to stupid things. People are exhausting, you know. If people want something, there's a good chance they don't actually know what they want. Because people ask for things all the time. And then people get those things sometimes, and then they just don't like it for whatever reason. And it's like, well, why don't you like it? You got exactly what you asked for. Well, yeah, but I wanted it this way. It's like, you got exactly what you asked for. Well, don't I get a second chance? Not always, you know? Not everything in life is going to give you a second chance. It's nice to get a second chance in life, but, you know, not everything is going to give that option. Therefore, if you think that you might be, you know, doing something wrong, word of advice: it is better to ask for permission than it is to ask for forgiveness. Because if you're asking for permission, they're not upset yet. If you're asking for forgiveness, well, let's put it this way. The forgiveness response in Area 51 is shoot on sight. The forgiveness response in a psych ward is to lock you up against your will and force you to take various psychoactive drugs that they may or may not actually need to prescribe you, but they're going to give them to you anyways. The forgiveness response in a prison is that they put you in solitary confinement, and they don't let you talk to anyone or see anyone or hear from anyone for the duration of your solitary confinement. Now, if you ask for permission in a prison, that's different. That will get you an actual useful response. You know, it will get you some form of behavior that isn't going to just completely ruin your day, or possibly multiple days, depending on the location involved. You know, there is a very big difference between the different types of situations. However, the common factor between them all is if you ask for forgiveness, you're in trouble. If you ask for permission, you're not in trouble. Therefore, better to ask permission than forgiveness. Very simple equation. You know, does not take some form of rocket scientist to figure that out. Okay. 1, 2, 3, right there. Ah, I see. Okay, well, let me place one dirt there and then go retrieve some more smooth stone. I apparently ran out of smooth stone. Yeah, this is the proper floor. I'm just way out here. Hit that slime, hit that slime. Hit these slimes. Make sure I grab the experience properly. I did. Okay. Let me grab this entire bottom row here. That will allow me to make a lot of advancement in my excavations. I want over here, I believe. Yes. Okay. And then the next thing I want is to go over here, deposit this, deposit this. Now I traverse back down to here. I'm going to make use of these two. Yeah, my thorns is very powerful. However, it is very, very heavily damaging to the armor because I'm using leather armor. Okay, somewhere in this area is some experience that I did not get yet. Therefore, I shall go through making sure that I retrieve all of the experience from these little potholes and from all of these sections here. Basically just running along each line of lanterns in order to make sure that I grab the experience. Because I don't know where the experience specifically is.